Hey everybody, we're having technical difficulties. My co-host is still trying to log on, but we can get started.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, okay, we got him.
All right.
Okay. Are you good now?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. This is okay. So this is Eamon Dow. His channel is Dow's Stock Talk, and he does kind of like everything. He talks about stocks, crypto. Thanks for your work. Help me educate. Any tips on your favorite textbooks? Yeah, he did like something on investing in wine. So it's really interesting, and it's more of kind of like telling you how to do these things, especially if you're new to either investing in the stock market or kind of these different types of investing, because you can invest in so many different things, real estate. But Eamon, do you want to just tell us a little about yourself and how you got started on YouTube?
Yeah, sure. So I believe I started back in, I think it was 2019. It was kind of just like a personal journey. I end up, I don't know, I think about in 2016, 2017, started reading a lot of Warren Buffett's and value investing. Took that up, and then pretty much like each day, I just kind of learned something new. And as I learned, I end up preparing videos, and then I just kind of been preparing videos ever since.
And yeah, I met Eamon actually before I started my channel. So he's one of the few people, like of my subs and the people on YouTube that I met before. Like right in the beginning of the pandemic, we were both members of a Facebook group, and I posted something about I think it was PE ratio.
Oh, right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, yeah. That. Yeah.
And he responded with a video to his channel, and that's how I kind of got to meet him. So he doesn't post as much as me. I think that's the hard part about growing, is that you need to post all the time, and then if you have a life, like you have a job, if you have to do things, I don't have a life. I don't have anything to do, so I can do videos all day. But most people aren't in that situation.
Yeah, I think I do. I only do like once a week. I noticed like a lot of other ones, some people do like once. I know you sometimes. I think you might do twice a day, or
I used to do 2-3 times a day, but now I'm pretty much once a day, because it takes me forever to get a video done.
Yeah.
It used to take me like 10 minutes to edit a video, 10, 20 minutes. Now it takes like 5 hours.
Yeah, especially adding all them special effects and doing the research and all that kind of stuff can get pretty time consuming. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
The hardest part is like learning about the editing software. That takes a little time. But now, once you get used to it and you have your systems down, it gets a little faster. What does Dow think of Dow Chemical? Are you familiar with Dow Chemical?
Yeah, I am, but honestly, I haven't been following them a lot. As far as like the stocks lately, haven't been keeping up with them as much. I've been kind of really, a lot of my time and attention has been on like certain cryptocurrencies. So as far as the stock market, I haven't paid attention to it like too closely. I keep an eye on it, like maybe like I want to say every week or so. So as far as any new, especially well, going back to Dow Chemistry, I haven't really followed that particular stock often, but I am familiar with the company.
It's hard because people always say, "What do you think of this stock?" And it's really
Yeah,
hard to answer unless I'm like following that all the time, which I'm usually not because I'm looking at so many stocks.
yeah.
I was gonna start doing giveaways. I used to have a YouTube channel, and I
Oh, the
used to give
lottery
out
thing.
the scratch, yeah, the
Yeah.
lotto, the scratch offs. Um, and I used to give out, used to do like thousands of, lots of giveaways. I haven't done on this channel, but maybe I'll do it just to make it more fun. And I'll do a $20 Amazon gift card. So if you win, you have to email me, and then I'll send you the Amazon gift card. Um, so just post in the comments, say I'm in or in if you want to be part of this raffle right now. So I know, just type in the word in, so I get you. I don't want to miss anybody because some people aren't commenting. I know who's here, but I just know Marcelo. And I'll tell you how it works. Canna bus. That's a great name, Canna bus driver. That's a really good name. Impossible Stock News. This guy's awesome. Check out his channel. He's much more, has much more personality than me. Very outgoing. I'm definitely going to invest in Sundial. I'm waiting for my payment. So far, I got 5 people, and there's 12 people on the stream. I'll wait a little bit. We can talk. Just write in, and we'll just keep talking. Me and so whatever you want to talk about. Like, I don't know if some people don't like to say what they do for a living, but I'll ask you if you feel comfortable. So what do you
Sure.
do for a living?
Yeah, so I'm a transportation engineer. So I work a lot with infrastructure, mainly I want to say roadways.
I'm Jewish.
Oh yeah. So yeah, more so construction management, where I just kind of oversee different types of things in the road and stuff like that. So I mean that's what I pretty much do. It's my full-time job, and then from there I do that's all my spare time and stuff goes to like finance and investing in general. I think for the like at least try to, as far as my schedule, as far as YouTube, I normally try to do like research on Friday, Saturday, and then on Monday I like to record, and then try to do Tuesday, Wednesday for editing, and then Thursday I would actually release the video. But yeah. But yeah, in a nutshell, a transportation engineer.
And then how long have you been investing?
When I started, I think I bought my first one back in 2012, but I didn't start really investing a lot of money till probably like I want to say 2018. But yeah, I bought some. I bought a few stocks back in like I want to say 2012, 2013, but like I didn't, yeah, like I said, I didn't really start investing a lot of money until I want to say about 2018.
2018.
Yeah.
Hey Ben, what's up? I was talking to Jake. He said you
Oh,
were
thanks.
interested in maybe running a mathnasium. I should have just gave it to you. I was going to give it to Madeline, but no one seemed to want it. It was crazy. Okay, so I have 9 people in the raffle. Does anybody else want to be part of the raffle? There's 16 people. Just write in, and I'll do I'll do tons of giveaways on my old channel. And the more subs I get, the more money I can give away. So I got 10 people. So this is the way it works. Is I have a randomizer here, and then
Oh, by the way, Impossible Stock News, I just subscribed to your channel. I have to start checking out some of your videos.
okay. So anytime I change anything on the screen, let me highlight this number. You calculate your own and whack when you do your analysis. Zane, I used to, and I used to show you on the videos like how I do it, but I've been trying to be more transparent, and so you can recreate the model yourself. So I've just been using either Simply Wall Street or another a website. I mentioned a website. Sometimes I used to use a combination, like a blend of my calculation and some other websites. But this is a long conversation to whack, and I think that's the hardest thing to figure out on a model. Okay, so I have 12 people that are in the very first raffle. Okay, so this is the way it works. So I do a randomizer 1 through 12. So every time I change anything, like you'll hear the space, you'll see the number change to 10. Okay, so it's pretty simple. The way it works is if you get chosen twice, you win the $20 Amazon gift card. So I'm going to start right now. I'm going to hit the space bar. Number 3. So if number 3 comes up again, cannabis driver wins. So I'm going to just change the color so we know he got picked. Now I'm going to do the second one. 1. Okay. Now I'm going to do the next randomizer. 2. So you have to get 2. Whoever wins the second, whoever gets picked twice wins. 6. Erico. 12. Investing education. He did a live stream with me. Sub to investing education. 4. Mr. Rapper. 5. Impossible Stock News. Sub to Impossible Stock News. 5 again. Wait, was that? Did it change? 10. I don't think you can't get 2 in a row because if it doesn't change, it doesn't count. It has to change so everybody gets a chance. 5. Okay, it's over.
Impossible Stock News.
Well, I know him, so I'll email you a $20 Amazon gift card. Impossible Stock News. Let me write that down. And I plan to do more of these raffles, like multiple raffles every live stream. Hopefully. Jordan, I'll email you the $20 Amazon. Or email me to remind me. So don't forget. And I'll try to do it again later. Congrats on the first winner. So we'll just talk. Well, what I usually do in the live streams is we just talk until people ask questions, and we might go over specific stocks.
Okay.
Eamon, you do a lot of like different types of videos. Like you did one on like wine, how to invest in wine. What other types of like kind of
Yeah,
esoteric?
yeah.
Um,
So yeah, like recently I've been doing a lot of like alternative investments. Because with the stock market, if you kind of go to like fundamentals and stuff, it could be considered the valuations is normally higher compared to the others. So I was just kind of looking at other opportunities and see what types of returns that they possibly had. And I probably anything you probably can think of. I think I had a video on investing in art, investing in wine, peer-to-peer lending, NFTs, music royalties.
NFTs. Yeah.
Yeah, music royalties,
Music
ETFs, of
royalties.
course, crowdfunding platforms, startups, anything you can pretty much think of as far as alternative investments, probably had some type of video on. I'm also try to cover like any type of major investing platforms. I'll try to do like a review on it so you can kind of follow the journey. I do some stock. Probably coming up pretty soon. I should be doing a lot more stock analysis. Just recently, I was trying to get out as much videos as far as alternative investment and stuff to create a playlist and stuff. But coming into the new year, I should probably start doing more stock analysis videos of
What's your
each.
channel name? I can't pull it up. Is
Oh,
it Dallas?
Dow's Stock Talk.
Okay. I can't find it. Let me see if I'll just bring in the link. Yeah, can you explain what NFTs are? Like non-fungible token? Like what does that mean?
Yeah. So it just pretty much gives you the ability to own a digital asset. But the main thing is you pretty much put the image or whatever digital file on the blockchain. And once you put it on the blockchain, they'll issue what you call like a token. So it's just a way where you can kind of own, like I said, digital files. Because normally before then, there was no opportunity to do so. I mean, and it can kind of get a little iffy because a lot of people's like, well, if it's on the screen, can I just cut and paste it or save the file and stuff? And that's kind of true. But as far as you wouldn't actually own it. So if someone was, I guess you can kind of think about it as any type of patent or trademark. But so it's just kind of like on the blockchain, they will give you credit. Hey, this particular, and each NFTs are different, but this particular person owns this NFTs, and then you can end up selling your NFT to end up profiting money and stuff like that. It gets a little tricky, but in a nutshell, just know that it just gives you the ability to own any type of digital. Most of the time, it's like pictures and images, but it can be like music clips, anything that has they even have like you can have a NFT tweet. So any pretty much digital file that you can kind of think about, it gives you the ability to do it. It's kind of really like an abstract thing when you're talking about owning a digital file, owning a picture. It's still kind of a new concept, but the NFTs I'm more so interested in is the one more so like the smart contracts. So the smart contracts allows you to pretty much monetize or get paid based off of real activities. So I think I did a video on music NFTs where they correlate the amount that you would get from the amount of sales the amount of downloads or sales or any type of commission thing, where you can get a small percentage through the NFT. Yeah. So yeah, the NFT is just kind of like a whole new ordeal. But the main thing I want to say about the NFTs is the problem right now is to get access to them. They kind of have what you call gas fees, and those gas fees are super high. So if the NFT could be like $50, but the gas fee would be $30. So you kind of got to be really tricky. Now, it's fine as far as to know, what NFTs to buy or not. I really wouldn't be able to tell you. I just know how it particularly works.
What's a gas fee?
So a gas fee is normally like anytime there's on like a blockchain or something like that to buy any type of crypto or token. Be It's like I guess whenever they kind of mine or something like that, it's a fee that you end up having to pay to pretty much buy. Like for example, anytime you buy an NFT, I know you have to pay gas. You can kind of think about gas fees as like a trade. Don't you know with stocks before they had a commission fee or something like that, a spread? But in the blockchain, it's more so. Um, I believe anytime it's on the network or something, the amount of, I guess, electricity or something to mine or keep the network up and running, there's a particular type of fee that you would end up having to pay.
Okay. I remember somebody was telling me about like his mortgage. He can get an NFT of his mortgage. So if he wants to transfer ownership, it's easier if it's digital rather than a physical piece of paper. I thought that was a good way to do it. But art. So art is like the most common NFT, right?
Yeah,
That's
art.
what I heard.
Yeah, that's pretty mainly the ones that I've mainly see the most is probably art.
Art. Like a Picasso kind of art, like
a lot of them are like
a
funny cartoon, like I want to say funny cartoons. Like I know they have a lot of famous ones, like they have like an ape or it's like the box people. It's kind of like just funny images. It almost looks like I'm trying to think Legos. Don't you know the Lego style a little bit?
Yeah.
Apparently a lot of them, I honestly I can't understand why people would pay so much. Like there's some that's 100,000 million. Like I even follow like this IG one where they show you this IG page. I probably should probably put it in the chat where they just show you the prices that these NFTs be going for. Oh yeah. I remember the Bored Ape was another popular one.
The Bored Ape.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of like just you can say you can afford it. It's like a really nice car. It's like
Yeah, I think right now it's kind of a trend though.
Like you probably can get a car that runs extremely well for under 100,000. But
Right.
if you want to spend over 100,000, it's just telling people that I can afford this. It's not like your car is any better. It may look nicer, or it may just have the word Lamborghini on it. But
yeah.
Is that like NFTs or is it
Well, the thing about NFTs, a lot of times it's more so about like who makes it. For example, like if I made an NFT, no one probably would care. But if someone like let me try to think of
Brad Pitt or something.
Yeah, just because he made it, even if it's just a dot, because they're like, well, Brad Pitt made this and I own this digital file. That
Right.
alone.
It's like
it sounds a little silly a little bit, but I do really like it for where you can correlate it to things things that happen in the real world. I think real estate would be like as far as house deeds and stuff, if they could package it up as far as like the paper. Honestly, I think trademarks and patents would probably be the best to put in the form of an NFT.
Right, because they're intangible already.
I mean, yeah. So the only difference is it would just be just the way it's packaged and it'd be on the blockchain. Because you can't really see a pattern or you would have to look it up anyway. So you might as well just put in the form of a smart contract. And then that way you can just go on the blockchain. So therefore a lot of paperwork and all that stuff it'll be much easy to access.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely more efficient than having all this paperwork. It's kind of like the video I did recently on Dropbox.
Yeah, and Impossible. He brought up a good point. Yeah, a lot of NFTs, especially people and the creators, it gives them ability to monetize their own stuff that they create, whether it's videos, music, art, any type of thing. It kind of definitely gives you the ability as the creator to monetize your own artwork or something like that. So that was a good point, Bob. Impossible stock news.
Yeah.
So I
that
think
makes-
I think oh sorry I had to cut you off, but I think another big thing is if you have a big community, a lot of times your NFTs is going to be valuable simply because your community is kind of backing you up or something like that. So
right.
if you have a large community or fan base, that would probably be a key thing, especially if you want the NFT to be valuable. Just kind of like building up that community.
Yeah, it's just like if you have like 1 million followers on social media, um, for some reason what you sell is more valuable, or like you're more likely to buy merch from Mr. Beast than me, for instance, because
Yeah.
there's Mr. Beast on it and people know who he is. So it's like that. It's like that too. But there is a purpose for NFTs. It's not like just this. It's not like a waste of money. It's not like there's a well, if you think about it, like art, if you buy a piece of art for like $100,000, like
Mhm.
a portrait, to someone else that may be like the biggest waste of money. Like it's not even, you might, the other person may think it doesn't even look nice, or why would you ever pay that? It's just everybody has their own taste. So they're just digitizing these things. I'm going to start selling Impossible Stock News videos as NFTs, but my mom is the only one that will buy them. I'll buy them if you sell them for $20.
You,
I'll buy them.
what would be interesting, I was just curious how that would work if someone uploaded like videos or stuff that was already trademarked and like you know what I mean, like in the real world. So technically, on a blockchain, it was you would say, okay, I put it on the blockchain first, but if you don't have the official trademark rights, I mean legally, I wonder how would that work? Because it's
But you don't have
decentralized.
to, like, you can anything creative, like, is a combination of a lot of things. Like you can use, I mean, you can't use things verbatim, but you can, like, like, ever watch like if you watch a TV show and they use a copyrighted song in the TV show,
Mhm.
they had to actually pay to get the rights to that. But I know, like, if you watch videos, like, you see, like, some people, like, have, like, reference famous, like, memes, or like uh, uh like even a famous person saying a quote. Um, so yeah, maybe that's part of the issue, is the legality of how to sift through that. Like, and there's no, like, laws yet. It's not like
Yeah,
it's kind of in its infancy.
because I know that the NBA they kind of created NFTs of like LeBron James first dunk and all that stuff. So that's why I was kind of interested if let's say Tom Brady 700 touchdown pass. If I download that and upload it to the blockchain, I mean, like technically I'd be the first one to upload it, but it's kind of like I really don't own that. The NFL kind of owns the rights to that, but since it's on the blockchain, it'd be decentralized. I like, you know what I'm saying? I wonder how that would actually work as far as, I mean, I guess you would just get sued. I mean, I'm assuming, or
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
you would only get sued um if you made money off of it. um I don't know if you would get sued. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I
What?
guess in, like, in real life, would you get sued if you used, like, said like Tom Brady's? I guess only if you made money off of it. You maybe
Yeah,
get
yeah,
sued.
but yeah, because that's the good thing about it. If I made the clip or something like, well, I uploaded and I end up the NFT end up selling for, I guess, probably, I don't know, I'm just 50,000. So what I'm assuming is I would get the 50,000, but then I guess I don't say the real world, but I probably would end up getting sued for that amount since that wasn't my original content, right? That's what I'm assuming if they wanted to.
Well, like I don't think you could even sell it. Like, well, you could sell anything. You could try to sell things. Like, I could try to sell um, like this is Michael Jordan's jersey, and I could just say it, even though if he never wore it, but no one would believe me unless I had like a certificate or something. You know,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
buy like a baseball card, or you buy like usually like baseball cards. I used to be really into those. Now they get graded, so you can or a signature on a baseball card. Like I can just write someone's name and say, look, now give me $500, but I would need some document. Like, so no one would probably buy it from you unless you did it illegally, which I guess, but I guess that's like online too. You can do illegal things online. It's probably not wise, but people do it all the time. Yeah, no, it is a little confusing. What crypto are you invested in? Are you invested in Cardano? You said.
yeah, yeah. So I like I said, I try to stay in the top 15, but right now, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano, and I was looking at Solana, and the last one was Chainlink. So yeah, that's the ones I'm actively investing in.
Solana.
Yeah, that's the only thing about that is as far as like the how fast they can process transactions and all that. Their numbers are really good, but the thing about it is they haven't been around for that long of a time. So a
Right.
thing about Ethereum almost been around just as long as Bitcoin, but the other one is probably only like a year or two old. So even though they create a platform that can what they call, I guess, scalability, which more people can be on the network without it being slow. Or I remember I was talking about those gas fees on Ethereum. It's like super high, but if you went to Solana, it's less than a penny. So, but the thing about it is Ethereum, there's a lot more applications running on the Ethereum platform. So, yeah.
Look at storage. I have invested, but
Oh,
decentralized storage in future. Gas fees, transaction fees. It's just another thing to consider. I remember when I used to buy stocks, part of my investment would be looking at the fees, because I wouldn't invest under $1,000 because the fee was, I think it was $7 on E-Trade.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if
yeah.
you invest like $100, 7% is in fees. So you have to make 7% on that investment just to.
Yeah, and
Now
I
it's
think
different. There's no fees, but gas fees. This is something to consider. I never even heard of this. Gas fees.
oh, yeah. I mean, as far as it's like I don't exactly know what it is, but I just know that it's the fee that you have to pay. But don't you know, as far as like I guess the technology behind it, I just kind of look at it as a regular fee that you have to pay in order to get it.
Do you um do you stake any of your crypto?
Well, I staked Cardano.
That seems like a really good 'cause staking is kind of new, at least to me.
Yeah,
I didn't know you could stake until like maybe always you could have always staked, but now it seems like why wouldn't you? It's kind of like earning interest on your bank account. Like, why wouldn't you want to stake and earn more? Have you
Yeah,
made anything on staking? Like, have you earned anything of value?
yeah. So they have it. I think with Cardano, I have to check it now, but I believe it's up like super high. I believe it's. Let me check it. I think it's like 12% APY. So it's just kind of like you have to just hold it in there. You can kind of almost think about it as like a CD. Don't you know how like you have the CDs for like 6 months, 1 year? It kind of works the same
Right.
thing, but it'd just be with crypto, and of course it'd be way more volatile.
Right. I think of it as like earning. If you had money in a bank account, you would earn interest.
Right, and
It's
but it would just be a bank that's super. I mean, way more. I want to say volatile as far as the value that they have.
well, the value of your underlying
Right.
crypto, it moves a lot, right? But staking is kind of like so you said, did you say 12% you get for staking?
Well, for Cardano. So the more riskier the coin, the higher the staking is, the less volatile the lower the yield will end up being. That yeah, because I have it on the. See if I have. I don't want my phone to cut off, but have it. I use the Voyager app. Have you? They have a stock. Yeah, they have Have you followed their stock? Did you do a discounted cash flow on them or?
Voyager?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that like Coinbase?
Yeah. A little. Yeah. It's a smaller. Very like. It's not as far as the assets. It's not at Coinbase level. But it's a smaller one compared to Coinbase.
Right. 2 billion market cap. It trades on the pink sheets. Well, the revenue's gone up a lot from 1 million to 200 million. In 1 year, it went from 1 million to 175 million. If you, Jordan, are you invested in this Voyager? The cash
Yeah.
flow positive.
Yeah, so I've made a mistake on that. It's not actually that high. It's 4.7 for Cardano.
Cardano? Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just saw it. It said like
yeah, it's 4.7.
Yeah. How often do you earn that? Is that like quarterly or
The one on Voyager, it says like I just recently started doing it, but they end up showing you it monthly, like the
so
interest thing.
you stake through Voyager?
Yes,
Why not
and
Coinbase? Just you get better deal?
the reason why I use Voyager is because the the fee, like when you buy crypto, there's like no fees. Like Coinbase is like a smaller fee. Is that means so? What
Right.
happened is with Voyager, yeah, preferably Coinbase would be like the best as far as credibility and stuff like that. But if it's not like time sensitive or something like that, you buying it on Voyager, especially if you're buying smaller amounts. If you're buying larger amounts, it makes sense to go with Coinbase. But if you're buying smaller amounts at a time, then I mean, Voyager could be a good option.
Yeah, their revenue is small, but the growth is significant. a million to a quarter billion. But you'd have to look underneath the hood to really understand this better. I mean, Coinbase is probably massive.
Yeah, I think Coinbase is right under Binance. I mean, yeah. As far as what's the numbers for?
It's only 6 billion. It's actually not much more of the revenue on Coinbase. It's only third quarter was 1.3 billion, and Voyager $81 million. Okay, that's a trailing 12 month. Okay, so it's like 15 times bigger than Voyager.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It could slow down huge soon. That's the risk. Investing in crypto or investing in companies like Coinbase or Voyager is the volatility.
Yeah.
Look at that. The beta is 3.57. Let's see what Coinbase is. They don't have a beta, but I'm surprised Coinbase doesn't have a beta. I guess because they've just started trading in April. Voyager also started in April. I wonder why Voyager is trading on the pink sheets and not on the NASDAQ. It's not that small, 2 billion. And it's gone. It was higher. It was like 5 billion market cap when it started trading.
Yeah. Good.
I'm trying to think of this. This comment somebody made the other day. I can't remember what it was.
So hold on. Give me 1 second. I think I might have.
Maybe that's a Caster Maritime.
So, oh yeah, so yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna lose viewers if I don't talk much. The Caster. No, maybe it's Ship. I think it's Synergy. Oh yeah, Synergy. Okay, so somebody commented on Synergy. He said the resistance point for like 2017 to 2000, something like that, 2012 to 2019. He said it was $150 resistance point. Now it's trading at $1. So everybody just pulled out because we could get back to 150. And then I said to him, it was never trading at 150. I said it was trading even 5 years ago. It was trading probably around $1, maybe $2 max.
Mm-hmm. And
he said, I don't know what you're looking at, but it was trading at 150. But I said it's because of reverse stock splits. It appears that it was trading at $150, but it wasn't trading that high. But he didn't respond back. I wanted to explain to him because I made that same mistake too. I lost a lot of money thinking, oh my God, this stock was trading at like $5,000. Now it's trading at a quarter. I could be rich if it goes back up to even $100. It doesn't have to go back to 5,000. But it's the same thing as if you invest in Microsoft and said, They were trading at 40 cents. They were trading under $1, Microsoft. So it might go back to under $1 and I'll lose all my money. But they were never trading under $1. Same thing as like these crazy stocks that do all these reverse stock splits. If you bring it out, it was like it IPO'd at $150,000 according to this chart. Of course it didn't, because of all the reverse stock splits, it just appears that way.
I think you got a question about the market crashing because of the Fed's hiking interest rates.
Yeah,
he's asking a question.
I used to do covered calls a lot. I don't really do them anymore. What do you think about that, Eamon? About it crashing?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because the way they have the monetary policy right now, I don't think between the government and the Feds, I don't think they're going to allow that to happen. And I think worst case scenario, we might see a correction, but I don't think it's going to crash. No. If, like I said, yeah. Now, if the Feds and stuff didn't get like involved and kind of stop adding money or something, like printing money and stuff like that, and they kind of just let what happens, probably so. But the way that it's pretty much going now, they'll as soon as something seems about to go wrong, they'll just kind of take a real aggressive approach again. I mean, I think the like I said, the major thing is the inflation thing. I think that's our biggest problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because the market generally does crash periodically, and it's not a bad thing, a crash.
Right.
I mean, it sucks if you're 70 years old and you lose half your money. But even that, like, as long as you can, I fear inflation. I mean, these external factors, I don't know, you can't really control it. And as long as you just stick with your strategy, whatever it is, and don't sell out of fear. If you have cash in a savings account, then inflation will hurt you. As long as you don't have cash in a savings account, if you're invested in real estate, if you own your home, if you're invested in stocks, you'll probably move with inflation for the most part. Of course, some stocks will go down, some stocks will go up a lot. That's just how it goes. And you can't really control it. And you just got to stick with your strategy. The worst thing to do is sell out of fear. What were we saying?
One thing, if you were concerned about the market crashing or something like that, dividend stocks may be your best bet, simply because since dividend stocks are like a lot more stable and it doesn't move up as much during the market downturn, dividends will drop at a smaller amount compared to like the regular stock market. I think during the crash in 2008, it was only down 20 compared to the overall market that was down much. I think that was like close to 40 as far as from the highs. So dividend could be a conservative thing, but I honestly don't think that, you never know, but I don't think that the market is going to crash.
Probably not. But if it does, I mean, you can't just.
Yeah.
I mean, if you sell all your stocks and hold cash, you would have lost on so much upside the past 10 years. So.
Yeah.
Unless you have some crystal ball and you know it's going to happen this month. If that was the case, you could be a trillionaire if you can like leave the market before a crash, jump in right after a crash. But yeah, but there's really not much you can do. Just try to stick with stable companies. If you are invested in risky stocks like penny stocks,
Yeah.
then those type of companies may go bankrupt when times get difficult, because
Right.
they just don't have the funds to continue on, and capital markets tend to freeze up because less people have money to lend, or banks get tighter and investors
Yeah.
also get tighter.
I
But
mean, I think growth stocks could potentially take a hit in 2022. Not saying it's, but I'm saying I think growth stocks could take a little hit, especially if the Feds end up raising rates. Could definitely not be that good for growth stocks.
oh, Raphael, I thought you were saying good night, like goodbye. All you can do is be invested and leverage it during a big crash. Yeah, if you can, I mean, if you know the down, if you can time it kind of close and leverage during a crash, yeah, that would be great. But it's hard to do that. The thing is, like, I never have cash to invest, whether it's a crash or not. I just don't keep cash sitting around. I invest it. But yeah, but if you have at least some type of strategy, it gives you kind of peace of mind to just stick with it, because if you trust that strategy, you could ignore all the external factors, which is really hard to do. But especially if your stock's going down a lot, instead of
Yeah, I
cash.
mean,
Some stocks have gotten crushed the past 2-3 weeks. Some people have lost like 50-60% on. There was a stock I owned, CrowdStrike. I bought it at like 190 and went up to 270, and now it's back down to, yeah, I bought it right here, like at 190, and I was up 50%, and now and it went right back down to 190.
I think someone had a question about Kathy Woods.
Why did this pop? I'm recommended it. I'm 11, by the way. Why did this pop? What does that mean? Why did this pop? Why did the stock market pop? Instead of cash, what would you hold? Anything. Just buy this index. Buy an index, or
Yeah.
don't. You can buy, if you really, you can buy gold or silver if you want to, like, play it safe. What do you pin the Kathy Wood? She stuck and got lucky. Well, yeah. If you were heavy on Tesla, you look like a genius, because Tesla went up like 2,500% the past like 18 months. But I don't think she seems to do well. I don't really follow that closely. I don't really follow anybody that closely. I just kind of do my own thing. I listen to Warren Buffett, but I don't listen to anyone else really. But I don't really follow. What do you think of Kathy Woods?
So what Kathy Woods, I just like to pay attention to like her point of view and stuff she's talking. I mean, like, I don't necessarily trust her picks. I just kind of just pay attention to some of the stuff that she's saying. But yeah, to me, she's a person that's a lot more optimistic. And like I said, she's big on companies that can grow pretty fast, and that what sectors that companies that she thinks that they will disrupt a certain type of industry, like she'll bet big on them. So in my opinion, she's definitely not conservative. But I mean, like I said, she's okay. I listened to a few of her podcasts, and I'll give you an example. So this was one of her points, if you want to look at it from, let's give an example, crypto. Let's give the example, right? So and I think this should be like a real example. So her logic was that in 2021, it won't happen this year because this year is already over, but this was early in the beginning of the year. She said that she think Bitcoin could reach 100,000. And her logic was, okay, at that time, the crypto market, I believe, was at about 2 trillion. She was saying that gold is at 10 trillion. So if the crypto market could double from 2 to 4, it would be smaller than the size of gold. And then Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin, because at that time it was 50,000. So if the market cap doubled, that would be 100,000. So like that was, I guess, her approach as far as, so she was, I guess she was just looking at the opportunity. So 2 trillion is very small. And she was saying that the crypto market had would be more impactful than gold as well. But those were just kind of like some of her viewpoints,
Right.
her way of thinking. So it was interesting. I kind of like kept that in mind, but I didn't necessarily think Bitcoin was going to go to 100,000. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of put things in perspective.
Right. But the thing is, like, if someone like Kathy Wood or Warren Buffett or an investment bank, if they buy a big lot of a company, it's not like they did. They might have done. I'm sure they did some research, but just the fact that they bought it, other
Yeah.
people follow, and they may be right, and they may have picked a really good stock. But regardless if they picked a good stock or bad stock, nobody knows the future, of course. But people just buy it because they bought it, and then the stock goes up, just like those meme stocks. The reason like AMC and GameStop went up so much is because people kept buying it, and that's how stock prices go up. When there's more buy orders than sell orders, it goes up. When there's more sell orders than buy orders, it goes down. What do you think of Berkshire right now? At this time, it seems like one of the best picks because of their money. I mean, I trust like Warren Buffett and his philosophy, so that's why I own it. But he hasn't beaten the S&P 500 in like 5 years or 6 years, so
I think it's almost like 10 years. If
so
you,
I would be better off
I'm
just
about to check.
investing in the S&P 500.
It's kind of weird because he actually said himself in one of his annual shareholders meeting that and the S&P 500 may beat them in the next 10 years as well. He said, and I thought that was kind of weird. He was pretty much saying that it may be a possibility that they can outperform the market in the next 10 years. That was kind of thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah.
I think if you just put everything in the S&P 500, you're probably going to be better off than trying to pick stocks. And
Yeah.
I know you don't know it now, but like it seems like how even in my portfolio, I look at some things. The only two stocks that I've consistently beat the S&P 500 consistently was Apple and Facebook. Everything else, it's kind of like my Berkshire is not. It's not negative, but it's definitely not. It's a little behind S&P 500, like a pretty good spread. So I feel like if I would have just put everything in S&P 500 and just not learn anything else about investing, I might have been better off financially. But it's fun trying to like find the next Tesla, I guess.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't really, let's say, think about it as far as a lot of people this you kind of like I say you have to think about it in the long term because each year you're going to be adding more money. So if you start out with $1,000 and like you did a really you did a really good job and you pick some stock that end up doubling, so you're at 2,000. But you're not going to be able to keep doing that, and the more you try to bet big, once you'll end up starting to lose. And once you accumulate a lot of money, you can't afford those losses. If you're dealing with a small amount, it's just a small amount, but you can't be especially if you're managing like millions or $1 billion funds, you can't afford, one bad mistake, you can mess up years, years of money that you're accumulating. I think some people, they only kind of think about they're having a fixed amount of money and they're not investing anymore. A lot of times you're consistently investing. So if you had one good year, if you had 100% one year and then the next year you had 5, it's not, it's in the long run, it's not really, you're going to lose every single time.
Yeah, it's
But yeah, they were saying also that Berkshire, as far as most of the time, he will always lag the market in bull markets. So because we had a bull market for probably the last 10 years, that's probably why he's trailing. Because anytime there's a bull market, most of the time, most of the gains came from growth and Buffett's in value. So I think,
right.
yeah, if we
Yeah.
hit a bear market, then it'd probably be the other way around.
It's like if you invested, like there's like 5 or 6 stocks, and if you put money into those stocks, you would probably beat. But if you don't have any money in those stocks, like like Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, certain stocks, even if you only had 10% of your portfolio in Tesla and 90% in nothing special, even if the 90% you would have lost, if you like if just a year ago, if you put 10% of your portfolio in Tesla, 90% in companies that would go bankrupt, you would have done amazing, because Tesla went up like over 2,000% in the past year. So you would have doubled your money. So that's
Yeah.
extreme. You're probably not going to invest in all bankrupt companies, but if you put like 5% of Tesla, 3% in Apple, and then the rest was just companies that didn't do so great, you would have done amazing. But if you didn't invest in one of those 5 or 6 companies that are kind of like leading the way, so yeah, if you want to be in a raffle, just say I'm in, so I know to put your name, and then I'll tell you how the rules go, and you can win a $20 Amazon gift card. And I'm gonna try to do this every live stream, like a couple, like 1 or 2 times each live stream. Hopefully the streams get bigger so I can have more of these rewards.
I just pulled up Seeking Alpha. So I'm looking at for the past 10 years, S&P up 273% and Berkshire's up 230. So he's been trailing almost for 15 years. For the 15 year, if you're looking at 15 years, he's 20% above, the S&P in the 15-year mark. But for the last decade, he's been underperforming.
He's underperforming, but like you said, like 230%, and like he's not like, if he like, there's a lot of funds that are losing money or like barely up like 30%. So he's not that far behind. So I'm not
right. It's not, yeah.
But it would still be. It would have been better at S&P, but so far I got 8 people, but there's 16 people on the stream. So if you want to be in a raffle, it's legit. My old channel, I used to give out like thousands of dollars, not Mr. Beast, millions of dollars. But hopefully I can do that again, because I think it makes it more fun. And obviously maybe the channel will grow. Yeah, so 8 people so far. Let me know if you're in, and then you get a $20 Amazon gift card. Yeah, I that's why I like Berkshire. I feel it's kind of secure my money.
Yeah.
Like if you don't want to put your money in a savings account. Savings account is secure up to like $250,000.
Right.
If you don't want, or actually put it under your bed. As long as you don't get robbed. He said I was
being at S&P until last week. But it is
pretty. What's that?
Oh, but it is pretty interesting, because when I'm looking at 20 years, though, Berkshire's up 655%, and S&P's only up 311%. So
there you go.
It's a big difference if you go back. Even 15 years, 15 years, if you go back, he's still up 20% higher than the S&P. So I think you would kind of be the test of times is once we get out of this bull market. Well, if we
right.
Let's
wait like 30 years. That's the hard part, is like you have to wait like until you're like 80 years old to find this stuff out.
Yeah.
And you don't want to wait but okay, so 9 people, that's fine. So the way it works is I have a randomizer, and every time I change So Peter, every time I change something on the screen, usually when I hit the space, it changes the number. The only rule is you can't win 2 in a row. Like if you get picked twice in a row. But the way it works is you have to get picked twice to win a $20 Amazon gift card. So I'm going to start it now.
I don't. Yeah, I think. I don't think Warren's ever going to buy Bitcoin. I think he's.
Peter.
I looked at one of the comments. Someone said, "He'll buy Bitcoin his last year alive." I just think as far as like him and Charlie, the way they set in their mind, I don't think they'll ever accept cryptocurrency. What do you think about that, Scott?
No. But
I don't ever think that's happening.
5 years ago, I didn't think crypto would make it, but it's still around. So I think it's gonna. Yeah, I think it'll still be around. I think most of the cryptocurrencies will go away because you can't have like 5,000, but Bitcoin will probably be around forever.
I think you might have maybe a top, especially if you're talking about longevity. I think you might have like top 10. Because I think there's like, I don't know, thousands of them, but because a lot of them they do very similar things. So it's kind of like at one point, okay, one will be able to do what most of them can do, and it's just kind of like, I think maybe you have 10 coins that will be able to pretty much do everything you need, and the rest of the coins will just.
You can't win 2 in a row. It was 5 twice, but it has to change. Wow, look at everybody! Almost everybody got picked. This is amazing. The odds of this are so out there. Raphael wins. So make sure you email me, Raphael, so I can email you an Amazon gift card. This is legit. It's not a scam. Raphael, yeah, email me at this email address. And then I have a way to confirm it's actually you. So if you email me and say you're Raphael, I have a way to confirm it's really you, because I've done this before and people try to scam me. Because anybody can email me and just say, hey, my name's Raphael. I won the $20. But yeah, nice job. This should make it more fun to live stream. And if I get more subs and I make more money on the channel, then I could do more of this stuff.
Who knows? You might be the next Mr. Beast.
Yeah, I'm not outgoing. That's the problem. I'm not don't have a personality.
But I think Berkshire biggest problem will probably be the idle cash. I think that's really their biggest problem.
What you think it's a problem? I think it's a benefit because they could jump on an investment real fast. Like if you were selling a house, right? And then somebody offered you $500,000, but they needed to get a mortgage. So it would take them possibly a month to get all the paperwork done. But somebody said, I'll give you $470,000 cash. The cash person might get it.
Right.
Because the person who wants a mortgage, it may fall through. So that's what, like Berkshire, they have the cash. So if they want to jump on a deal, they can do it easily. But why do you think it's a problem? Oh, because of inflation?
Well, that, and I think as with evaluations being so high, I think it's still not going to be to their likings. Because, they like to find undervalued, but if the market is, way overvalued and it drops some more and it's still overvalued, they're still not going to feel comfortable. You see what I'm saying?
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
It's cool. Yeah, but what I was saying is, if they believe that the overall market is overvalued, if you're looking at it historical, even if the companies did drop
in their eye, it still would be overvalued. So they still wouldn't pull the trigger. And I think that these evaluations, I think they're going to be high. They're going to continue to be high. And to their likings, what may happen is the opportunity cost of them holding the cash, that's what I think maybe their biggest threat. Because I think they're looking for a good undervalued company. And that may not happen until maybe 5 or 6 years. And that time they had 6 years, they had a lot of cash that really wasn't going back to work. I mean, they could do the buybacks and stuff like that, but that's what I think. I think that's their biggest problem. Not being able to find a company that, could, what they consider to be a good investment. I think, the time period of them finding that company where they can allocate enough cash, I think, in my opinion, I think that's their biggest problem right now. But if we did go into a bear market, then of course it would be in their benefit because they'll probably be buying like crazy.
Right. I think they're pretty good with money. I mean, Scott, did you do just a video on a market rotation? Just did a video on the market rotation. What is that? What do you mean a video? Okay, so
Do you mean like market cycles or?
I didn't do one. But just so you know, if you look at the cash flow from investing section, they don't actually sit on cash. They buy short-term securities, which is so
like treasury notes, right?
Yeah, like commercial paper. So they do earn like 1-2%, which is like $100 million for them for the amount of cash they have. So yeah, everybody go to Impossible Stock News' channel. He's really good, much better than me. The good thing about going to different YouTube channels is you get a different point of view, and everybody has their own spin on things. Yeah, check out. That's a link to his channel. Although some channels I've seen, they give so much, they give incorrect information, like obviously incorrect information. But I don't know. I know people make mistakes, but I remember I was watching this video and the guy kept referring to the income statement as the balance sheet. And even people in the comments said, "Oh yeah, that balance sheet of theirs," and nobody picked up on it. But what's on your watch list, Scott? It doesn't matter if the market dips or not. If I have cash, I invest it. If I don't have cash, I can't invest. That's pretty much how it is. I don't like time things. I am getting cash soon. So I'm really bullish on Facebook. I've always been bullish on Facebook.
Same.
So I'm even more bullish now with their.
What about Amazon?
Amazon?
Yeah.
I have a lot invested in Amazon. I am bullish Amazon, but I already have a lot invested in them, and I just don't. I just see the potential of Facebook is much greater than any other company. But
speaking of Facebook, what do you think about the Metaverse?
Well, that's where I think the future is. It's not just typing and communicating through these the Facebook like groups or words. It's going to be like more like real life.
They have a Metaverse ETF, right?
No.
Yeah, it's and the thing about it is the reason why I think Facebook they kept their ticker because the Meta ETF, the ticker's META. So Facebook, because that ticker was already existed. But yeah, I just threw that out there because we're talking about the Metaverse.
Is it an ETF of the companies that?
Yeah, it's an ETF of companies that are kind of investing heavily in the Metaverse, whether it's computing, hardware. So any company that's investing a lot of money with any aspect of the metaverse?
Okay, NVIDIA is the biggest one. Microsoft, Roblox, Meta Platforms, Facebook, Unity, Autodesk, C, Amazon. Oh, Amazon, Tencent, and Immersion. It's a great ETF. I mean, when you have Microsoft and Facebook inside, that's the thing. If you invest, that's why the spiders went up so much, because they have Microsoft and Facebook part of that fund. But if you're investing in a fund and it has like, well, now obviously we know about it, but any fund that had NVIDIA, Tesla, I'm not sure. Facebook is up more than the market, but it's some of these stocks are just up so much. Like NVIDIA is up like what, 1,500% the past year. It's crazy. It seems so obvious now, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, who knew which semiconductor company? If I said there's going to be 2 semiconductor companies that will grow 1,000%, I don't know which. I would have said probably Intel, right? They have, or NVIDIA. When it after the fact, it seems obvious. Oh, of course, NVIDIA, because they're so cutting edge.
Yeah, I think a while back I had NXP. I had that like a while back. Their stock went up, but yeah.
Taiwan Semiconductor, that's the biggest one. This is not, NVIDIA is the biggest growth one, but yeah, 100%, 150% or so. Taiwan Semiconductor, I don't know if it grew as much. It didn't. Nothing grew as much as NVIDIA, but
Right.
But this is still 2 years. It tripled. I would be really happy to have any stock that tripled even in 5 years or 10 years. If you play video games like Halo, Call of Duty.
I know Roblox. Roblox, I think that's right. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Roblox.
I know a lot of kids be on that.
Yeah.
My nephew, he's on that like 3 or 4 hours every day.
Can we stick to one topic?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I understand. It's hard to stick to one topic because people keep asking questions and it gets boring. But Roblox, well, it came down a lot. It was at 140. Let's do a poll. Should I just stick to one thing and not jump around so much?
Or like you probably could have someone in the chat, maybe have 3 things and let the group decide which one we should kind of focus on, maybe.
What does a star mean? There's a star next to the name. M. Taylor, I just put a star next to your name. What happened when I did that? Does that make you does that give you more access to block people? Well, let's keep going. I don't mind a bit of jumping around. Yeah, when I used to do the live streams, I try to stick to one topic, and it seemed like people left pretty quickly. And it's kind of got boring, like dry. But then once I started doing this new format where I just kind of answer questions as I come in. Although today I'm not getting that many talking semis. Micron will be a player to contend with. Yep, your Micron. I think I bought it. I should have held on to it. I don't know why I sold it. It's kind of all over the place. Yeah, I think I bought it around 80. So I would have. Oh no, maybe it was 40. I don't know. Bring a beer and we stay here the whole time. Can you do a quick look at IMMR fundamentals? Been holding for years. Ben Zinger is alluding to a short squeeze for Vaxart in the interim. Heavy big Vaxart. That could be a good. That's like the dream of all of us, right? We want to. But I don't know if you guys can stomach putting like 20% of your cash into like a stock that you think may get short squeezed. But if you have the guts to drop like 50K into one of those stocks and then it goes up to 500K the next day, because it's like that's what we dream of. But
yeah, I'll answer that. It's kind of silly. I'm not. So my best investment, this is kind of, it was actually in Shiba. I know that kind of sounds silly, but
all right,
yeah, I mean, that for that was probably up, I want to say 1100%. But if you want to talk about stocks, I want to say, of course, the main one I have, of course, Facebook. Facebook was up a lot. I did have Tesla as well. So Facebook and Tesla was probably, I want to say, the biggest. I had a small position in Tesla though. But most of the time, what I normally do is I just normally dollar cost average in companies that I think are doing really well. So therefore, I don't have to, as far as the pricing, I don't have to, as far as the valuation exactly, I don't have to be, I don't have to try to pinpoint it. So if I buy it every particular month, a lot of times, as long as the company do well, I'll do well as well. So especially the reason why I started doing that, especially when evaluations were much higher than normal, I just decided just to every month just put a certain amount in those particular companies. And two, like I no longer have that same conviction about them. So like, for example, as of now, I would not dollar cost average in Tesla right now.
Right. It seems like we missed the boat on Tesla. But
yeah,
I said that when Tesla was $500 billion, I was like, oh, we missed the boat. But it doubled like 2 months later. But that, I guess Tesla's a real anomaly, like because of into the boat. It's just Elon is such a powerful figure that he moved like Dogecoin, like he blew up Dogecoin, like he just has so much influence over things. And maybe I should have invested. Maybe I should. So this is the quarterly report, the 10Q. This is pretty much all I look at when I do a video. I just pull up the latest quarterly report. I used to look through other things, but now I used to watch other YouTube channels too, but I found that I just get all my information from here. And it is a little difficult in the beginning to try to like look at the balance sheet and income statement and understand it all. But once you kind of have some understanding, you really get all the information, because I'll try to give you an example. So if I was looking at this company, Immersion, the balance sheet, 90 million of cash. So they have a ton of cash relative to their current liabilities. So they seem pretty healthy from that point. They lost money overall. Their accumulated deficit, which is a sum. The good thing, like when you look at the income statement, which a lot of people do, that's what I used to do. I just look at the income statement and I go, oh, they have how much profit did they have? And I used to think that was the only thing that's important. But accumulated deficit or retained earnings, it tells you all the net incomes historically since they started the company. So is that? It's a little noisy, Eamon. Is that you? Oh.
I don't think so.
So historically they lost $102 million. AMC, what did you gain on AMC? What was their? My best was Apple. It was like 1,000%. But like I only put 1,500 in. Of course, whatever I put in, I always wish I did more. And it was 15,000 when I sold it like 7 years later or 6 years later. Facebook, I 4x'd. But this doesn't mean you should never invest in a stock that has an accumulated deficit. You know, lots of companies have accumulated deficit. It takes time. But if you notice, they bought back 81 million of stock. So if you kind of like net those together, it's only 20 million accumulated deficit. I also did SeaWorld, but like a moron. How much do U.S. people earn per month right now? I guess it depends on your job, but I would say 3,000 to 6,000 a month is what most people earn who work full time. Of course, you can make, if you're a doctor, it's probably 10 to 15,000 a month, or maybe even more, 20. So you could just do a quick scan. But like right here, like royalty and license. So this gives me an idea of how they bring in revenue, like because they don't sell physical products. They just get a royalty and they license out. Oh, it's a software company. And that's a scalable type business, right? Royalty and license. I'm gonna just mute you for a second. It's really noisy. So if you invest in a company like Uber Eats or Uber, or a car manufacturing company, it's not as scalable as a company that sells like software or like Dropbox. It's so easy to scale, right? Because you can easily sell that around the world with like very little costs, right? But if you want to sell Teslas around the world, of course you can do it. But it's really expensive and time consuming to like build a factory in those countries and all that stuff. So I like investing in companies that are scalable because if they have an opportunity to grow, they can easily do it. Tesla has opportunities to grow. It's just it's not easy to build factories and you have to like there's a lot of like rules when you go into other countries. But it's a really small, 7 million revenue. It's a really small company. Where's the cash flow statement? But what I like to do is 7173. I like to like search the revenue. This you get more information. So of their revenue, it breaks it down. So 1.2 million is a fixed fee license. 5.8 is per unit royalty. So royalty and license revenue per unit revenue in 3 months. Because when you see things like when someone has a contract in place, especially a contract with the government, the US government is the best, but any government, it's kind of like a guaranteed revenue stream. Water will be a major constraint for life on Earth. That's true. But Eamon said this to me, and it always stuck. When I was talking to him, it was a while ago, about like a really tiny, a micro cap stock. And you said, like, even though the financials look good, it's just nobody knows about the stock. And if nobody knows about it, and they have really small the numbers are kind of small relative to most companies, the stock just won't move much. So you can see a really profitable company, like high margins, but if they're under like 1 billion market cap, they fly below the radar of almost everybody. And you can invest in a company that's losing tons of money, like AMC, and you make tons of, and your return is amazing because people just buy the stock. So it's just, you have to find stocks that people are going to buy. And maybe one day this company will get really popular and people will start buying it more, but it's just, it's really a gamble whenever you invest in a stock below, I would say below 10 billion market cap. It's a gamble.
Yeah, me personally, I normally only stick with large cap. It's just because the information is more easily accessible. Occasionally I do, but it's easier to follow larger companies because a lot of people are already talking about them. You kind of already know, like, for example, anytime Facebook, Google, or do something, you'll be fully aware. But, you know, with the smaller companies, it's much harder to get information and about them. I mean, you can do it, you just have to do a lot of digging. And you gotta remember, it's for small cap, it's tons and tons of small cap companies. So for each particular one, having to research, especially if it's outside of your level of competence, or you're not really familiar exactly what they do in particular, it's just so many small caps out there. That's why I mainly just kind of focus on large cap. I know on the upside you're limiting your upside, but just easier for me. What about you? Do you do a lot of small cap, or you?
No. And I changed my strategy recently, and I kind of regret it. I bought 2 micro cap stocks I normally wouldn't buy. And I was trying to like people used to comment and saying, you know, you talk about all these companies in detail, but you only invest in like the indexes or only these huge companies. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try to invest in some smaller companies. But I just think it's just, you can obviously, you can get lucky, but it's just like gambling. And I know it's not a pure gamble like playing the lotto, but like, if you're going to make a lot of money in a stock market, it's not going to be with getting lucky on a stock pick, that on a microcap stock. It's going to be like just little by little over time. People do get lucky in the stock market and make millions, but it's 1 out of every like 10 million investors gets really lucky like that. The ones who make a lot of money are the ones, probably 99% of people who make a lot of money in the market are the ones who did it for a long time and invested in smart companies. I think that's just the way to go. Even if you do all your homework in the world, like this stock, and even if you identify this is great, it's just like, if nobody else knows about it, it's just going to trade sideways. You could for like a decade. And like, it's like leaving your money in a savings account with no interest. it's really hard. It's fine to gamble if you want, but the problem is, even when you do find the next great thing, this is, I see, like, if you put, I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but say you put most people wouldn't have done this. Say you put 10,000 to Amazon in the real early days, before it was like much of a company. They were just selling books and they weren't that big. And most people wouldn't do that. Most people, even if they had 100,000 to invest, they would put like $500 into it. They wouldn't put 10,000. But say you did, and say at one point, like before the .com crash, you were at like 150,000. You probably would have sold way before I even hit 150. Because you probably would have even sold at 20,000. But let's say you held out for 150, and it did, and then it went down to like 7,000. I think, I don't know the exact numbers, but because it dropped a lot in the .com crash, and it almost went bankrupt.
Yeah, I remember that.
And if you held out through 7,000, you might have just sold it, because I'm done. I'm almost at my 10,000, my original investment. I don't want to deal with the stress. But if you didn't, right, and then it went up to 500,000, would you have sold then? I mean, how could you not, right? But what if you would have held out, you would have been at 30 million. You're like at what point do you sell? Like what's the right price point? Like if you, that's why it's so hard to invest in these penny stocks that you don't really know, unless you really knew Amazon well, and you did a lot of homework, and you knew Jeff Bezos' strategy, like you really believed in the company and it was a long-term thing. Then I can understand this. But like, you know what I'm saying, Eamon? Like, who would have, like, what if you put $10,000 into a company and it went up to $50,000? Like who would have held out for 25 years to get to this point? You know, it's almost impossible, right?
Yeah. I mean, and that's also, you got to think about it too, especially if something goes up a lot of time and it starts to dip a little bit. A lot of people like, well, I'm already up a lot. Let me just not be too greedy. So in my opinion, that's why I think what's the most difficult thing to do, especially when you buy a stock, and if you understand it and know it completely well, then you can kind of know, okay, how long to hold on to it. But if you kind of know and some bad things to happen, a lot of times your instinct is going to be like, okay, this did well so far. Let me just take my profit. What I got is good. That's why I guess we could go back to the fundamentals. If you kind of really understand the business, then it can give you a much better, I guess, conviction about whether you should hold or not. But like most of the time, if a stock goes up a lot of times I'm not a person that can handle too much volatility. So me personally, that's why I kind of have a lot more conservative approach, simply because I don't like huge swings like that. And that's why I normally just kind of keep it simple with the indexes. Just consistently invest every single month, consistent, because at the end, I mean, as long as my money is compounding nicely, I mean, that's all that matters for me.
Yeah. Because my strategy is, and I did deviate. I bought 2 stocks that I normally wouldn't, but generally, whenever I buy a stock, it's to hold indefinitely until I need cash. Like, the last time I sold was to pay down my mortgage. And the time before that I sold was when I opened a business. So unless I need something for, like I need money for something or an emergency, but if outside of that, I just buy to hold indefinitely, because I'm going to ride all the ups and downs, because I don't know. At least I invest in companies that I feel really, really strongly about. I can't predict the future, but like if I put $10,000 into a company, I kind of ignore the market fluctuations. The only time I'll sell is if like I really feel the company is going in the wrong direction. I think they might not make it, but that's rare. Like if I invest in like a Facebook or Berkshire Hathaway, there's pretty much no chance of that happening. And if that does happen, I won't have any insight. It's going to happen. Like there's going to be something really major, like Enron.
So, just curious. Speaking of what do you think about the Alibaba situation? As far as what's your take on that? As far as the whether they could potentially get delisted, or is that something that would cause you to sell, or you would just because it's like a shell company. You don't technically own the Alibaba stock. It's like you see what I'm saying?
Well, you do. You could, I know what you're saying, but you own it. I mean, well, if you buy Baba, I mean, your investment is in a company. I mean, I understand, whether it's, you own, what's it called? Yeah, but anyway, with the China situation, yeah, that might be a situation where I might even sell all my Chinese stocks, and that's why I want to buy Alibaba so bad. But I'm just concerned about, it's such a great company, Alibaba. It's such a solid company, great financials, but the Chinese government, I don't think it'll get delisted. I definitely don't think it will. Of course, you never know, but what is it? DD that got delisted, or who got delisted? What Chinese company got delisted recently?
I can't remember.
But like a major thing, like where I don't feel comfortable about the company, I might sell off my shares, but. Vaxart, when you read about the squeeze, remember I warned you? Okay, on Vaxart, so let's all pile into Vaxart. Wow, it was $1,100. So they did a reverse stock split. I did a 1-for-11 reverse stock split. It's a small market cap, 74. And this is crazy. I mean, this wouldn't make me feel good as an investor to see this. Unless you had some inclination that there will be a short squeeze. But how much can you drop in this? Can you drop, even if you had $100,000 in cash? Can you even drop more than like 5,000? Would be 5% of your money. Eamon, how much money would you put into this stock if you saying it's a short squeeze, or would you not even? You wouldn't even risk it.
I really don't like try to do this short squeeze thing, but if I had 100,000, if I was trying to, it'd probably be super conservative, probably no more than 5%.
And even that, on just some speculation that a penny stock may get squeezed, but it's interesting, and I definitely like learning about anything in the market. But I just found like avoiding these types of things, like you're going to be better off in the long run if you avoid these types of stuff. Generally, the way you make money in the market is the way the market was set up, is to give companies your money and they can make products or provide a service, and make profits and then give you back some of those profits. Not so much buying it in the hopes somebody else buys it from you at a higher price. But, you know, obviously you can make money. Wow, went up 9%. Is this one of the stocks that had a lot of activity? But if you invest in one of these, you know, penny stocks or stocks under 1 billion market cap, unless you're willing to sit on unless you're willing to sit there for a decade and possibly not make any money, unless of course you get lucky in a short squeeze, but that's pretty unlikely. But I think my top two stocks is Facebook and Intel. I hope I'm not wrong about Intel. I'm a little concerned it's not going to have. It hasn't been moving much lately. I like investing to own companies, seeing the company grow. Otherwise, index funds all the way. What do you think of Intel? It's kind of left behind. The semiconductor company that used to be number one in the world now is like in 2000, it was larger than like NVIDIA, any other 2 or 3 big semiconductors. It was like larger than all of them combined. And now it's much smaller.
Is that PO? I did a quick search. Is there 12-month trailing P 9? Is that right from Yahoo?
Yeah, that's right. I did a video on them recently.
Sheesh.
And people talk negatively about them, but they went from they're growing. They're not like on a downhill. Like look at they have the highest revenue of any semiconductor company, 78 billion. It's a lot of revenue, right? 78 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And they're 200 billion market cap, which is a good market cap. But look how NVIDIA is more than 3 times the size and 1/3 of the revenue. I'm not saying revenue is everything, but they have more cash flow, more revenue than any other company, but the stock just doesn't move. 8 billion operating cash flow. Intel has. It's kind of like with Tesla. People aren't looking; they're looking towards the future. Look at their operating cash flow. They're 34 billion, so they're 4 times cash flow. So the stock I think should be a lot higher, but it doesn't matter if I think it should be, and it doesn't matter if the financials indicate it should be. It matters if people are going to buy the stock and get it to a point where bring up the price. People are just not doing it. Look at it. He hit 68, and now it's down to 50.
Yeah, I think companies like that will start doing well once, but I think people are just gonna have to get like really scared, or once people start to get maybe a little pessimistic, I think then you'll see people shifting in their money into like Intel or something that's not as exciting. But like I said, right now, the last 2 years the S&P's been doing so well. I think everyone was just kind of looking at growth, and I think companies that did something with innovation and tech. So I mean, like, I want to say stuff that when people talk like, oh, that's super cool, like AI and stuff like that, and other companies just because they're not as what can I say, glamorized as the newer ones, they just kind of get left behind. But I think whenever you have like any type of big concern or something, I think you'll start seeing those stocks do well. I think that Intel will do well in 2022, though, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I thought they would do well for 10 years now. And
What's their future growth like? Do you have the numbers on that?
they have like the peg.
Well, no, I mean like the projected, or you're not sure. Like like the I guess you could. Oh, so what? Okay, so like, what's there like a forward PE, or I'm just trying to get an idea, or revenue growth, because I'm just trying to see.
That's the thing. The so when you see a PE of like this, a 10 PE, and you see a stock that's not doing that well, it's because people just don't feel the growth is they don't trust the growth of the company. They just don't see the future.
So they see it declining, basically.
That's pretty much why people don't buy the stock. Yeah. But they're bringing in more revenue and cash flow than any other semiconductor company. And they're tiny now. They used to be the largest. Now they're like, of all the semiconductor companies, they're probably like 3% of the revenue. I mean, the market caps, if you sum them all up, they're probably like 3% or 5%. And they used to be like 70% of the value of the semiconductor industry. But yeah, it's just the future expected growth. Let's talk Indie Semiconductor on Semiconductor Lattice Semiconductor. What does that mean? Indie Semiconductor? Oh, Indie. I never heard of them. That's the thing. If you want to be a semiconductor company, you can't be like a tiny semiconductor company. It's kind of like you can't just start manufacturing airplanes. Like it's just, you have to be either a big company or a really big company. Like you can't like start selling, like you can sell books online like Amazon did. Anybody can do that. Anybody can be you could start an e-commerce company and sell things online to people. It's very easy to do. It's almost costs no money. You're not going to compete with. You're not going to probably make much money. You'll never can compete with Amazon, but you can do it. There's very low barriers to entry, right?
Right.
But when it's very high barriers to entry to be a semiconductor company, it takes a very like advanced skills and know-how and machinery. It would cost you like $50 million just to buy the machines, and like there's just no way. So either you that's a thing. That's another thing to think about when you invest in a company. What are the barriers to entry? Can anybody supply the product? In this case, no. If you're looking at like a supermarket, yeah, anybody can open up a grocery store if they have a couple $100,000 and sell groceries and compete. But I got off on a tangent there. What was the question? Intel is building new factory. Yeah, Intel. Yeah, they're building a new factory. That's the thing. Like Intel, they have a lot going on. Like they're not. They're also trying to compete with Taiwan Semiconductor in the foundry business. So I don't know. Maybe it's going to trade sideways for another decade. Yeah, this has been a long call. So, Eamon, what do you think? Do you want to call it a night?
Yeah, we can. I guess we can answer maybe like one more if you want.
Fortuna Silver Mining. What's the update with San Jose? I heard the president got involved to try to resolve the issue. I don't know. I haven't really looked at. I don't know if there's many updates. I just assumed that was unlikely. Fortuna Silver Mining Company. I did a video on them. They may lose access to one of their mines. that's another tough industry. Like if you invest in a mining company, you have to be aware of people who just will hate your company. People will not want your company in their town because it's bad for the environment. People get hurt and die all the time mining commodities. It's pollution, things like that. I think semiconductors are a great future. There's so much demand for semiconductors. Do you follow semiconductor stocks, Amon? Anyone you like?
The main one I follow is Nvidia and NXP. Those are the two ones.
Oh, right,
I
NXP.
follow.
You said.
Yeah. Those are
Yeah,
the two ones.
Intel does give back in dividends.
I'm curious, what's their as far as do they buy a whole bunch of stock back, or?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to show people. They buy lots of stock. They pay over 2% dividend. They're not adding stock. They do have a lot of debt. No, it's not that bad. 36 billion. It's not too bad. Does anybody know like why if a company's not doing any if a company's not offering common stock, like not raising capital, companies do secondary offerings and sell common stock into the market to raise money. If a company's not doing that, but their shares are still going up, does anybody know why? Because I know why, but when I do videos, I wonder if people. Do you know why, Amen? Like why shares keep going up? They keep adding shares, but they're not doing any offerings.
Wait, can you say that again?
Like if you see a stock has
Like, give me an example.
Like this stock Intel has 4.07 billion shares outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
And say for the past 3 years, they didn't do any secondary stock offerings. Like they didn't sell stock into the open market. But their shares go up sometimes. Why do their shares go up? Does anybody know why shares go up?
I thought it was kind of simply. I thought the pretty much the more people that buy the stock, the higher it would go up. What would they?
No, not the stock price. The total shares available in the market. Why does it go up? The shares, the number of shares.
And you saying without them issuing more?
And they're not doing any. That's one reason, Marcelo. Yeah, company execs are exercising their options. It's good to know because some people think only when a company does stock offerings. Because if you own, say you and your friend bought a company, right? And you split the profits. So say the company made $100,000 last year and you both got $50,000 each. What if like one day your friend says, oh, now it's me, you, and Jimmy, so now we split it $33,000 each. You'd probably be like, whoa, I didn't even know about this. You can't just, I was expecting 50,000, now I only got 33,000. That's kind of like what happens when you own stock. Like, whoa, what's going on? You didn't tell me you're adding new owners to the business. Why are there now more people? I'm getting less money. Does anybody else know other reasons why shares would get? I mean, I think Marcelo pretty much said it, there's a lot of variations to that. Like, if the company sells warrants, does anybody know what a warrant is? Like if you bought options, if you bought if you bought call options on Intel, right? Say you bought, like, if Intel hits $55 a share. No, stock splits don't. Well, yeah, stock splits, they do change shares outstanding, but that's adjusted for the valuation, like the stock price. So in terms of affecting you personally as an investor, if you and your friend both own a company and you both got $50,000 each, and then your friend said, I'm going to do a stock split. So now instead of each of us owning one share, we both own 2 shares each. So $25,000 per share. You still get your $50,000, but now you're getting $25,000 twice instead of $50,000 once. Why would your friend do that? Maybe he wants to sell one of his shares to somebody, and not sell his entire 50. A convertible debt, isn't a bond converted to stock? No, a convertible debt is different than a warrant. Netherlands, it's like, what is it, like 5 a.m. in the Netherlands? Like if you buy call, Amen. If you bought a call option on Intel, right? Like say you bought $55 a call option. So if the stock hits 55, above 55, you pay $55 a share. So say Intel, big news on Intel, and then the stock goes up to $60. So now you can buy 100 shares at $55 each, even though they're trading at $60, right?
Right.
So say you say, okay, I'll take the 100 shares. So you give them $5,500, right? Now you have the shares. So if you want to sell it for $6,000 and make $500, but that doesn't affect shares outstanding. You just got 100 shares from someone else, right? And then all the options traded on the open market are just shares moved around, right? But when a company, what's that?
No, I was looking at the chat. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to look more into semiconductor, undervalued semiconductor stocks. The semiconductor industry overall, I haven't put too much time in that one particular, but I'll probably definitely keep up with them some more. Oh, but go ahead, Scott. I was just responding to one of the comment. I mean, what's in the chat.
Yeah, no problem. The only thing is different. Warrants are the same as options, but they're issued by the company. So the company may sell me warrants, the same thing, Intel warrants at $55, or they may just give me warrants. They give it to their employees, or maybe I fixed the roof on their factory and they give me 1,000 warrants at $55 instead of giving me cash. They wouldn't do that, but if it was a startup company, they may do that. But if I exercise those warrants, then they have to issue. Then the shares go up. So when someone exercises warrants, it's dilutive. It increases the shares outstanding in the market. Where regular options are not dilutive. They don't affect the shares outstanding. And warrants can only be sold by the company. Like Intel can sell warrants on their stock, but I can't sell warrants on Intel's stock. But I could sell a call option on Intel stock, or any option, put option. I can do that, but I can't sell warrants. Only the company can sell warrants on its stock. If that's clear, you can just Google it, but maybe hearing that explanation does that make sense, Eamon? Like how warrants work?
Yeah. That's kind of interesting. I don't really hear people talk about that much.
They're just long dated options that are issued by the company that are dilutive. That's all they are. Because sometimes warrants go out like 5-10 years, where options can't go above 2 years.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, as far as the option and stuff, I don't think I ever. As far as the option, maybe I only had like maybe 2 options. I really don't trade options. Really don't
Yeah.
use kind of options. I normally just is either I buy the stock, I actually own the stock, or that's
Yeah, I
pretty
don't
much
do
it.
options much either. I used to, but not anymore. I think it's kind of risky. You tend to lose most of your money when you do options. If you're right, like if you somehow can predict, it's kind of like playing the lotto. If you're right, so if you're right, that guy, the short squeeze, if that does happen, and if you bought options beforehand, then you could multiply your investment by 100. So if you had $10,000 to invest in Vaxart, and say your 10,000, the stock went up a lot, and you made $50,000 because the stock 5x. If you would have bought options, you could have turned that 10,000 to like 200,000. That's a good idea. Yeah. What's thoughts? I'm not a. I mean, I think AT&T is a great company. I just don't like it because it's like it doesn't really move. It's like it seems like it's like a turtle. Like it hardly ever moves, and it's so big. It's such a big company with like what is it, like 150 billion. They have so much debt, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just people. $179 billion of debt. I think they have more debt than almost any company in the world. But that's the thing; people just don't buy it. Like, so it doesn't move. But you get a nice dividend, which is good. Because look at it. I mean, in 27 years, it's still like if you bought it in 94. I guess if you bought it in 85, you're up. But if you bought it in 98, you're down a pretty good amount. If you bought it in 2007, if you bought it any time the past 25 years, you would have made no money or lost money. But you have to build into that the dividends. So you would have made money on the dividends. If you compound the dividends, you definitely would have made money. But it doesn't move much in price. So, Eamon, you want to call it a night?
Yeah, I'd probably call it a night.
Yeah, this is a good stream, and I'll try to do the contests so you can win Amazon gift cards. So hopefully more people come on the stream. But yeah, thanks for joining.
Oh, thank you.
And
it was
everybody,
a pleasure coming on there.
start a sub to Dow Stock Talk, and there's a link in the description, I think, somewhere. But yeah, thanks a lot, and yeah, leave some comments on the channel on videos if you want to talk about anything in addition that we missed. And yeah. So have a good night. Eamon, wait 1 second.
Okay.